The day has arrived where I finally turn to the dump truck and hopefully discover what is wrong with the transmission. It's been sitting down here for about 2 months, and so far all I've done is pile brush on the back of it. So let's get in the cab. The floor plate is already pulled off of it. I got some tools. Let's go ahead and pull the top cover off that tranny and hopefully drive this thing up to the garage. So the shift pattern is reverse in the top left and first is in the bottom left. You can see the shifter is all the way in the top left corner. There's nothing I can do to get out of there. It is stuck in that spot. It also gets stuck back here in the bottom left in first. Second through fifth, totally fine. So hopefully it's just something in this top plate or the shift forks that go down over the collars that's bound up, worn down, something. I can't imagine that you have a problem with reverse and first and it's something more than just a simple fix in the top here. So this is still unbolted from when I got it. The last time it was used, it got stuck, I think, in reverse, and the driver used that crescent wrench on the floor to take the floor apart and pull the top off the transmission and get it unstuck. So if he can do that with that tiny crescent wrench, I'm sure I can do the same. So I was told he pulled the top plate off, but honestly, the only bolts that I can see some dirt even knocked off are these 4 right around the top of the shifter. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to pull these 4 out, 2 on each side, 2 over there. Get these 4 pulled out, and I guess just pull the shifter out of the top of the tranny. I don't know. I've never pulled one of these off a heavy-duty transmission, or at least it's been a good 15 years since I've done it. Last bolt. Now, let's pull this thing out of there. No, that popped right out of there. Well, here's the bottom of the shifter. I was hoping it was going to be very worn. It doesn't appear to be so. I'll get a closer look once we get up to the garage. And inside the transmission, your shifter lives right in here. This one here should be slid back to where it's even with this other piece here. That little detent in the middle should be straight across from this hole. This should be slid back to be in neutral. Okay, what I just told you guys about the shifter is actually incorrect. I need to be worried about the other side. Pretend the screwdriver is the shifter. Now, if I move the handle to the top left, where it's in reverse, look at the bottom of the screwdriver. It's in the bottom right corner. You kind of forget sometimes. You're thinking, okay, the handle's in the top left, so I need the transmission, I'm looking in the top left. No, it's just a big long stick, so if that handle's in the top left, the bottom of it is in the bottom right. This one over here is in the center. You can see this one here is jammed all the way in the back of the case. And also it's got this little springy looking thing here. Typically when you pull your shifter over here to go in reverse, if you've ever driven a manual, it's kind of got that spring motion where it wants to pop back to neutral, so you're not accidentally hitting reverse. That's what does it, is that little ball down there. I'm going to take the screwdriver, put it against the back of the case here, see if I can't just pop this forward. It doesn't want to go. It wants to go right back to where it is. So I got to figure out what is keeping it from moving, and that is our issue. Whatever is keeping that piece there from moving. If you look at the very dirty windows, you'll notice our surroundings have changed. While this is stuck in reverse, that doesn't mean it won't move. I pulled it out of where it was sitting and I backed it all the way up to the garage so I can work on it up here. I hosed all the big crap off the top of the tranny here. Got it pretty clean. I'm going to go ahead and soak up this water. I cleaned out all the extra dirt from around the top. Now I'm going to remove the bolts from the perimeter of this top plate and pull this whole assembly off and take it inside and put it on the bench. I also found a factory service manual for this transmission online. I printed off all the pages pertaining to the top plate. So hopefully that will help us determine the best course of action to fix this. And also, if anybody cares, I discovered this is an Eaton Fuller FS 6305A. Soaked up most of the water that was sitting on top of the transmission. I'm going to go ahead and change this gear lube when I put it back together anyway, so I'm not too concerned if I get a little bit in there. Now, part of the reason I got this thing so cheap is because company that owned it took it to the service shop and they told them it was junk and it needed a transmission. And then I asked them when I purchased it for all the service records. And of course they gave me the diagnostic sheet or whatever from the shop it was at, and it said, test drove truck, transmission's out, needs new transmission. I don't even know what that means. You test drove the truck and you didn't want to work on it, or what? Looking at these bolts, they're all still perfectly coated in grease. They've clearly never been removed. They never bothered to pull the top of this transmission off and look at it. Other than test driving it, I don't know what they did. And the test drive would tell them absolutely nothing, because all it was doing was getting stuck in gear. It wasn't grinding, it wasn't making noise. There was nothing wrong with this other than it would get stuck in first and reverse. I've got a couple more bolts up in the front. They're going to take a little longer to get out. So I'll shut the camera off and I'll turn you back on when I pull the plate out of there. All right, got all the bolts out of it. See if we can't pull this thing off of here now. Oh, that came off a lot easier than I thought it would. I thought the thing was going to fight me and came right off of there. I'll just get it up and out of there now. Without... Of course, my cell phone starts ringing now. Now, we did drop a little bit of dirt in there pulling that cover off. I'm going to see if I can't get that out with the shop vac and some rags. If not, I'm going to change the fluid right away, like I said. And who knows, I might change it, drive it for a day or two, and then change it again right away just to make sure I get all the particles out of here. But let's go ahead and get this top cover on the bench and see what's wrong with it. Well, unfortunately, the issue is not in the top plate. It is right here. This is what the clutch fork attaches to. You can see it's flopping all over loose. These ones here are attached to, I'm assuming this is a synchronizer here that it's attached to. You can see the little posts that come out of it are just sitting there. And let me prop the light up. This little post right here should be through the corresponding hole on this plate. Since it is not, this is at a weird angle, and when you try and shift, it's getting bound up and you're unable to shift it. See this here? I can slide it easily. It's not getting bound up because it's attached to both of the synchronizer plates. This one has come off for some reason. So unfortunately, this train is going to have to come out. But that's a pretty easy fix. All the gears look good. It's just that piece there. Let's go inside, get in the computer, see what that's going to cost. And I guess we'll have to find time to pull this tranny out. Here's an illustrated parts list I found online. And let's see, where is it at in here? Right there. This right here is the part we need. Number 21, the synchronizer assembly for first/reverse, part number A6154. I looked it up, it's about 300 bucks. For this guy, I don't know if I'll need number 23 as well. That says synchronizer cup. I would imagine I'm gonna need that, but you know, I don't know until I get it apart. What it looks like here, here's the main shaft in the transmission. All this here goes on from this side, and reverse, the gear and the synchronizer going from the back end. So hopefully we can just take off 37 is just this bearing, and 29 is a washer. The main shaft is also where the yoke bolts on that the drive shaft attaches to. So that's what's going to be on these splines. So we're going to take the nut off, take the yoke off, take this whole thing out of the case. But then after we do that, it looks like there's nothing that really holds this on. I don't know if that bearing's going to be pressed on here. I bet it will be. We'll probably have to pull that off. It might get destroyed, so we might have to buy this bearing as well. Honestly, depending on what it costs, maybe we'll buy that bearing and this bearing as well for the front of the shaft. I'm going to get the whole thing torn apart before I buy anything, just to see what we do need. For sure we're going to need number 21, and number 21 was about $300. So we're into this for at least 300 bucks plus gear lube, probably another 100, 150. I think it takes 50 weight engine oil. You're looking at 450 or so. Well, I'm gonna wrap this one up right here, guys. I don't have time to get that tranny out today. I might start on it tomorrow, or it might have to wait till next week, and I don't know. Please comment below if you've got any experience doing this kind of thing, if you got any tips for me. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate you subscribing and sticking around for the next video. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.